Very shocking news. Loudly crying face, the painful secret of BTS Jin. Loudly crying face, the heartbreaking truth behind his smile. There is a specific kind of silence that falls over a stadium when the lights go out, moments before the music begins. It is a silence filled with anticipation, love, and an overwhelming sense of connection. But for one man standing in the dark, waiting for the spotlight to hit Kim Seok-jin's face, that silence has not always been peaceful. For years, the silence was filled with a terrifying question that echoed in Kim Seok-jin's own heart. Do I really belong here? When the world looks at BTS Jin today, the audience sees the confident, worldwide handsome. Fans see the superstar who blows kisses to millions, the vocalist who commands the stage with a crystal-clear silver voice, and the eldest brother who makes everyone laugh with quick wit. But if one looks closer, past the glamour and the awards, one will find a story that is not about instant stardom. The journey of Kim Seok-jin is a story about a young man who started with nothing but fear, who fought a silent war against deep insecurities, and who had to break himself apart 1,000 times just to build the person the world sees today. This is not just the story of an idol. This is the deeply human story of Kim Seok-jin. To understand the weight Kim Seok-jin has carried, the story must go back to the beginning, before the fame, before the flashing cameras. According to various media sources and the artist's own recollections, Jin did not grow up dreaming of being a singer. The young student wanted to be an actor. Kim Seok-jin wanted to tell stories through characters. But destiny intervened in a way that felt more like a cruel challenge than a gift. The future star was scouted on the street, not for a singing voice, and not for dancing skills, but simply for appearance. While this sounds like a blessing, being chosen solely for looks became the seed of Kim Seok-jin's deepest insecurity. When Kim Seok-jin entered the training system at Big Hit Entertainment, the acting student walked into a room filled with musical prodigies. Jin was surrounded by members who had been rapping underground for years, or who had been dancing since childhood. Kim Seok-jin had none of that experience. The trainee had to start from absolute zero. Reports from that era suggest that Jin had to learn how to sing and dance from the very basics, while watching younger peers excel with natural talent. Imagine the psychological toll of being the eldest member, the one who is socially expected to lead and protect, yet feeling like the one lagging behind. Kim Seok-jin has spoken in past interviews about those early days, describing the physical exhaustion and the mental battle. While others were refining a craft they already knew, Jin was fighting just to survive the practice sessions. The criticism was often harsh. In the early years, Kim Seok-jin was sometimes labeled by critics as the member with the awkward dancing or the unstable vocals. For a young man with pride and dreams, hearing these comments day after day must have been devastating. Such criticism creates a voice in the mind that whispers, "You are dragging the team down." This feeling of inadequacy did not vanish when BTS debuted. In fact, the pressure amplified. As the group began to climb the ladder of success, the burden on Kim Seok-jin grew heavier. Jin was the visual, the face of the group, but the artist wanted to be recognized for hard work and talent, not just a reflection in the mirror. There is a heartbreaking honesty in the solo song Awake, released years into the career. The lyrics are not just words. The lyrics are a confession. Kim Seok-jin sings, "Maybe I can't touch the sky." The vocalist admits to a fear of not being able to fly like the other petals, referring to the other members. Kim Seok-jin expresses a painful acceptance that perhaps destiny is to run on the ground while others soar. It takes immense courage to stand in front of the world and admit to feeling lesser than those nearby. It takes a specific kind of bravery to say, "I am struggling to keep up," while the world watches every move. This was the silent battle Kim Seok-jin fought every single day. The artist practiced when others slept. Jin repeated the same dance moves hundreds of times until the body screamed in protest. Kim Seok-jin worked on vocals relentlessly, transforming from someone with no musical background into a powerhouse vocalist who receives standing ovations from critics worldwide. But the scars of that struggle remained deep within. There was a moment in 2018 that shook the entire fandom and revealed just how close the world came to losing Kim Seok-jin and the group. During the Mama Awards, in a moment of raw vulnerability, Jin stood before the microphone, tears streaming down, and confessed that earlier that year, the members had discussed disbanding. The group was mentally exhausted. The pressure of becoming global icons was crushing the members. For Jin, the eldest, to vocalize this fear showed the depth of the pain the group was hiding behind smiles. It was a terrifying realization for fans that the bright, happy figures on the screens were actually on the brink of shattering. But perhaps the most profound struggle Kim Seok-jin faced came at the absolute height of success. In 2020, when the song Dynamite was topping the Billboard charts and the world was celebrating BTS, Jin was falling into a dark hole. In a deeply personal letter to fans, later immortalized in the song Abyss, Kim Seok-jin revealed suffering from severe burnout. The artist questioned the validity of this success. Kim Seok-jin asked, "There are so many people who love music more than me and are more talented than me. Is it really okay for me to receive this joy and congratulation?" This is a feeling known as imposter syndrome. But for Kim Seok-jin, the feeling was paralyzing. Jin felt like a fraud. The superstar felt lonely and hollow, even as millions screamed the name, Jin. The artist admitted to wanting to let go of everything. Kim Seok-jin sought counseling to navigate these dark waters. It is heartbreaking to realize that the man who spent every waking moment trying to make fans laugh was crying alone in a room, feeling unworthy of the love being received. Kim Seok-jin often uses humor as a shield. Jin has stated in interviews that the goal is to act happy and funny because the artist wants the fans to be happy. Kim Seok-jin hides personal darkness so it does not cast a shadow on anyone else. Yet, despite the fear, despite the feeling of being small, and despite the exhaustion, Kim Seok-jin never ran away. This is where true strength lies. Strength is not found in a vocal range or a handsome face, but in resilience. Kim Seok-jin chose to stay. The artist chose to wake up every morning and fight the voice in the head that said, "You are not good enough." Jin transformed pain into a message of self-love. The anthem, Epiphany, became a turning point not just for the singer, but for millions of people around the world. In Epiphany, Kim Seok-jin realizes that the one to love in this world is oneself. The singer stops trying to be perfect for others and accepts imperfections. The lyrics declare, "I'm the one I should love in this world. Not so perfect, but so beautiful." This was not just a lyric, it was a lifeline. It was Kim Seok-jin telling Kim Seok-jin that the effort is enough. Watching the artist perform this song live, often under the rain or standing alone on a vast stage, the audience can see the journey in Jin's eyes. From the scared trainee who felt out of place, to the man who finally embraced personal worth. People often ask why Kim Seok-jin is so beloved. Why do fans protect this man so fiercely? It is not because Jin is a celebrity. It is because Kim Seok-jin is deeply, flaws and all, human. Fans have watched the artist grow from a shy, insecure boy into a pillar of strength for the group. According to various fan accounts and behind-the-scenes content, Jin is the one who wakes up early to cook for the members. Kim Seok-jin is the one who drives the members around. Jin is the one who diffuses tension with a dad joke when the atmosphere gets too heavy. The eldest member sacrifices personal image to make the younger members laugh. Kim Seok-jin is the silent guardian who ensures that while the world looks at BTS, BTS is looking after each other. Even the recent enlistment in the military showed the character of Kim Seok-jin. As the eldest, Jin had to go first. The superstar had to step away from the limelight at the absolute peak of a career. There was fear of being forgotten, fear of the future, fear of the physical hardship. But Kim Seok-jin went with head held high. The soldier accepted the duty without complaint, setting an example for those who would follow. The images of Jin in uniform, looking tired but determined, reminded the world once again that underneath the idol persona is a man of integrity. Since returning, and with the release of solo works like The Astronaut and the recent album Happy, the world sees a man who has found a semblance of peace. Kim Seok-jin is no longer running to catch up with anyone. The artist is walking a personal path, at a personal pace. Jin sings about finding happiness in the simple things, about the comfort of returning home. But the shadows of the past, the anxiety, the pressure, never truly disappear. A person just learns to live with the shadows. We must remember that the smiles seen on screen are often hard-won. The financial success, which various media outlets estimate to be substantial, and the global awards are merely the surface. Beneath that surface lies a history of days where Kim Seok-jin felt inadequate, nights where the artist felt alone in a crowded room, and years of battling the fear that it could all vanish in an instant. Kim Seok-jin's story is a testament to the fact that a person does not have to be born a genius to touch the sky. One does not have to be the most talented person in the room to be the most important. One just has to endure. One has to be kind, especially to oneself. As the world looks at Kim Seok-jin now, standing tall, the audience does not just see a global pop star. We see a survivor. We see a man who looked into the abyss of self-doubt and built a bridge over the darkness, one step at a time. Kim Seok-jin taught us that it is okay to be weak, it is okay to be afraid, and it is okay to feel like an outsider, as long as the person eventually realizes that self-love is the answer. There is a quiet strength in simply continuing to exist and try, day after day, when the heart is heavy. Kim Seok-jin did that for over a decade. Jin carried the weight of the world, and the weight of personal expectations, and somehow, the artist learned to smile through it all. And in doing so, Kim Seok-jin gave the world a reason to smile back. Kim Seok-jin is not just the silver voice of BTS. This man is the heartbeat that kept going when the heart wanted to stop. And for that, beyond the fame and beyond the music, Kim Seok-jin has earned something far more valuable than any trophy. Kim Seok-jin has earned our unwavering respect.